Good day, I'm Joslyn GALON, and I'm gonna do the assignment number 3 for our macroeconomic subject, and that is the national income assignment. So, here we need to define the following. First is the GDP, or the gross national product, and that is the standard measure of the value added created through the production of goods and services in our country during a certain period of time. It is also the monetary or market value of all the finished goods and services. So second, we have here GNP, or gross national product. It is the total market value of a final goods and services produced by a nation's economy during a specific period of time, that is usually a year. So next, we have here the exports, from the word itself, exports. So that means that goods and services that are produced in our country or in their countries will be sold to buyers in another one. Like for example, in the Philippines to America, the Philippines to Korea, just like that. And imports, it is a product that was produced in another country and bought in one country. Like for example, from America to the Philippines, from to us. And so last, we have here the net exports. So net exports is the difference between the value of a country's exports versus the imports. So for the question number 2, GDP measures the value of goods and services produced within a country's borders, while GNP, or gross national product, measures the value of goods and services produced in a country's citizens domestically and abroad. So GDP, of course, is the most commonly used by the global economies. So number 3, we need to differentiate the exports from exports and net exports. So exports is just as what I mentioned earlier, that is the product that from the another country that will be sold in our country. For example, earlier, the car from their country, the car from the outside of the country, for example America, will be sold or will be delivered in our country, which is the Philippines, and that is called the imports. And then the exports is the product in our country that will be delivered in their country. Like for example, the mangoes. We are abundant of mangoes here in the Philippines. That's why we are going to sell it to them, and we are going to export our products to the America in order for them to have also our mangoes from the Philippines. So net imports earlier, that is just the difference between the country's imports versus the exports itself. And question number 3, or number 4, we need to give the methods on how to solve the GDP. And first, we have here the income approach. So GDP, or gross domestic product, equals in the incoming approach. In the income approach, we have here GDP equals total national income, sales taxes, depreciation, net foreign factor income. And for the expenditure approach, the second approach is GDP equals consumption plus investment plus government spending plus export minus the imports of the product. So output approach is the third approach in how to solve the GDP, and that is the real GDP, or the GDP at a constant price, and minus taxes plus subsidies. So those are the 3 approaches, mainly income approach, expenditure approach, and output approach. So fifth, this time we need to give examples like from the approaches that we provided earlier. We need to provide examples. So for the total national income, that is, the example for that is, or are, total wages, rents, and interest. The sales taxes, of course, the government taxes. The depreciation is the amount attributed to an asset based on its useful life. So And the not foreign factor income is the total generated total income generated by foreign citizens and companies within that country. So the next one is for the expenditure approach. The example for those, the consumption is example foods, gas, bills, and then the investment is buying a land, and the government spending is the various development activities from the government, of course, and then export minus imports is the net import itself.